This episode of the Nintendo Jump Podcast is sponsored by
Dynamax.
When you need it bigger, use
Dynamax.
Hello and welcome to episode number 50 of the Nintendo Jump Podcast. That's right, 50. We are really creeping up on a year right now, and this is crazy to me. But we are a weekly discussion podcast created for Nintendo gamers by Nintendo gamers. It is the week of June 3rd, which is to say this is our last podcast episode before E3 of 2019, so I am super excited. If you don't know already, my name is Daryl, and today I'm once again joined by my good friend Sergio. How are you, sir?
Yo, happy National Yo-Yo Day. I'm doing quite well. Shout out to my homies at the Score Bunny Squad. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this episode. How about you guys?
Oh, no comments on that one. Kevin, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, you know what? I'm doing very well on National Yo-Yo Day. If you haven't heard, it's Yo-Yo Day. I got yeah. Well, you know, yo. Different kind of yo, but you know what I mean? I also got some strawberry basil kombucha, which is an awesome flavor. My favorite flavor right now. It's delicious. It makes you want to do things and get excited, especially for E3. So if you haven't heard,
Drink responsibly, kids.
drink responsibly, yeah. I was gonna say the bird's the word, but anyway.
It makes you want to do things. All right, cool. So yeah, this week, like we said, we are in E3 season, which as a gamer tends to be the funnest season of the year, kind of, for all the speculation that's coming out and rumors and leaks and all sorts of things. And we just had some Pokemon news. So, Kevin, can you kind of explain how we're going to do this?
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the Pokemon Direct that just came out yesterday. Yeah. So that's gonna happen, and then we're gonna talk about E3 predictions. Hell yeah, from us.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and from our listeners. So it's gonna be awesome. You know, that's the 1-2 punch right there. Pokemon and E3 predictions. That's it. We got it. You got it. I got it. They got it. Let's go.
I got it.
You got it.
So yeah, presumably to kind of front load the E3 season and maybe move some of the important Pokemon discussion off of the Nintendo Direct and kind of control it just through Game Freak alone. They actually had their very own Pokemon Direct, specifically talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield, which they have revealed is now coming in November. To the surprise of absolutely no one here.
Right.
You guys weren't surprised by that, right? I think we pegged that to come into November before we knew what the game was.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we got actually quite a lot of time on Pokemon. I think they showed quite a lot of new interesting stuff. You know, overall feelings. What did you guys think about the videos they showed?
Overall feeling, this game is ticking every box that I want. This game is looking amazing for me.
Nice.
The only thing, so the Dynamaxing, basically it's a new feature that they're adding where the Pokemon become humongous, and it looks like that's gonna happen in some type of multiplayer raid battles, but also during the regular gym battles. At first I liked it. Now looking on it further, I feel like it might slow down the game a little bit. Although it's nice that it's optional, but I'm pretty sure every gym leader is gonna use it. So I'm a little iffy on that one, but everything else, man, I love it. I cannot wait for these games.
I got something to say about the Dynamax thing. I think it is an interesting idea, but when you combine that with Mega Evolution and the Z moves, I'm not sure how they're gonna balance that. Can you do all three at once? I mean, like what? I think balancing is going to be very important when it comes to those sort of special power moves things. So that's my gut take on that. I'm going to be very honest, given my historical past with Pokemon from episode to episode. I came out of this direct very impressed. Overall, very positive. I love the max rate idea, or is it max rate? Yeah, max rate
Yes.
idea. Uh, and I think it's great. I just like how, the whole camera angle thing, you're able to control the camera angles while you're roaming around the wild area, around the regions, what have you. And I gotta say, I really liked this particular Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Dreadnought, man, I would have six of that Pokemon on one team if I had if I had one choice to choose one Pokemon to be all the same. It would be
You're
Dreadnought.
like, nah, but Dreadnought, bro.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nah.
Nah. I say
No,
that.
he
I say
looks-
it now, but
He looks awesome. So yeah, regarding the Mega Evolutions and Z moves, I mean, to be clear, they have not confirmed or denied whether those are actually in the game. Period.
Mhm.
What they did do, or what they did make clear about the Dynamaxing, is that only certain Pokemon can do it. They actually were fairly
Oh.
specific about that. So I think they're going to try to balance it. I agree with you, Sergio. I think it's going to slow it down, but honestly, it looks kind of amazing when it happens. So at least for a little while, I expect it to be kind of at least funny, just to have a giant Grookey,
Yes.
hitting things with a stick. So it's interesting. I thought so. Famously, I am not the Pokemon lover on the show. Now that said, I have played a Pokemon game. It was actually Sapphire. I played one all the way through. Did not catch them all. I did not have to, and just kind of enjoyed my time with it, and didn't really feel the need to play that format game again. Which turns out Pokemon games are extremely iterative.
Yes.
So
Sure are.
I haven't really felt the need to jump back into it. That said, these games look really good. Like, seriously really good. I love what they've done with the world. Totally not Breath of the Wild. Totally not. This is not Breath of the Wild. It's Pokemon, but it kind of looks like Breath of the Wild. I don't know. The world looks really cool. Some of the mechanics that they've shown off look really cool. Combining that with a deal that Best Buy's running for a $10 reward when you pre-order and pick these games up, and combining it with Gamers Club Unlocked, which is expiring pretty soon, but I think I'm in. I think I'm in on this game. I
Yeah.
think it's rather interesting to me. I like what they're showing off so far. I really like the world, more so than I've ever liked any Pokemon world. This European flavor is kind of really interesting just to see it, and the new character designs are actually really well done. So yeah, color me interested on this one.
I have to agree, and I think they did a great job on the direct. Just the animations of the Pokemon. I mean, Scorbunny did a fist bump
Yeah.
with that Pokemon trainer. I mean, that was awesome. So I mean, gotta do that. I mean, I think Scorbunny won a lot of fans, if not already, from that one action. But yeah, just the world, like you said, it looks really nice. It feels very charming, and that's a very, very common theme for Nintendo games, and especially in Pokemon. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to say though, I don't really like the champion Leon. I think he's too. It's something about him that's
That
off.
guy
Like,
sucks.
he sucks. Yeah, it's just like
He's
I
too
want-
good, man.
I want it to be arrogant and say like nasty things about.
Too stylish.
Yeah.
I hate his beard.
What happened to
What a
Blue?
jerk.
What happened to Blue saying "smell you later" or and then you hear the tune.
Let's talk about that Milo guy. He's awful too.
Yeah.
Actually, every character in this game is just
Yeah.
terrible. No, we're joking.
Yeah, well,
I'm joking.
Leon.
I don't think Kevin's joking. Actually,
Well, I just don't like Leon that much right now. Maybe he'll have a dark side later. I just want him to,
Oh.
have that sort of nasty streak, but in a very, PG kind of way. Like you don't
why
have
can't
to.
we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Why can't we be friends?
There doesn't have to be a bad guy, Kevin.
No,
That's not how sports works.
I'm not gonna take this back. Leon must be a bad, arrogant guy. He has to. I wish that would have happened. But if he's a nice champion and adored by many fans and people in life, I mean, fine. But I just want him to have a nasty streak, okay? Put that as a hashtag if you have to. A nasty streak, but in the PG way. I think that would attract a lot more fans like me, and it'll be great. So, and Hop, no. I mean, I'm going to be very nitpicky because I'm very impressed by this direct, so I'm going to be very nitpicky, so I'm unapologetic. So hop is like what you think of when you drink beer, the hops and stuff. So, or you're like jumping. And I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it just seems like a very friendly.
I think of a personal rival. I really do.
Oh yeah, Hop.
Yeah, he's a jerk too. We didn't talk about that. Anyways, I think so. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're all pretty positive on it.
We are.
True.
We are.
So, I think overall, probably the direct was a very good step from what I've read online. People seem really positive on it so far. Everybody seems pretty happy with what they've seen. A few dissenting opinions of, I wish Pokemon would hashtag evolve a little bit more. But again, it's Pokemon. What are you going to expect on this one? So yeah, we will see more of it at E3. I think it has been listed as one of the playable games on the show floor. Don't know if it'll show up in the direct. I wouldn't be all that surprised if they show a little bit of it, but this direct has kind of made it so they don't have to show all that much. But before we kind of wrap on Pokemon, because we definitely have a lot of E3 stuff to get into, I'm gonna ask you guys: Sword or Shield?
I am going with. Well, I'm getting both, but I'm gonna play Sword first.
Nice.
I will play Shield from day negative 500 days.
Yeah, you called it a long time ago.
I was like, I'm gonna be the Shield. Even when they showed the legendary Pokemon, Zacian and Zamazenta.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. The Wolf legendaries, nicely done.
Yes.
Excellent. Love seeing them. And I'll be in for Pokemon Sword. So there you go. So one other hard question, and we actually put a poll out for this and had some actually fairly surprising results on it. Who is your starter, Sergio?
My starter and only Pokemon is gonna be Scorbunny. Yeah, my first playthrough is gonna be just him.
Are you serious?
It's gonna be very unique, but I'm going for it, man.
All right, Kevin, who is your starter? Based on what you know now, obviously we don't know the final evolutions or anything, but
it was Scorbunny. I have to admit, it was Scorbunny. But after hours and hours of, debating within my internal being, I would choose the water Pokemon, Sobble, Team Sobble. If you didn't see it coming, well, too bad. I have to go back to my roots of water Pokemon, so I'm gonna go with Sobble. I know the Pokemon is not as with so much flair like Scorbunny with the fist bump. Hopefully Sobble can do that later on. But I'm gonna go with the shy, introverted Pokemon Sobble. That is my choice.
And nice. I, of course, am Team Grookey forever. So hey, all three represented by us. So there you go. Couldn't have worked out much better if we even planned it that way, which we didn't. So that's cool. So unless you guys have anything else, I mean, obviously we're gonna hear a lot more about Pokemon as it gets closer. It's coming out in November now. So I'm sure there'll be a lot more information later on, but looks cool.
I have one thing I want to talk about for the Dynamax. So when the Pokemon go into that mode, is it required for both Pokemon to go into that mode or just one? Because what if your Pokemon's not ready for Dynamax, but the other Pokemon is, then you're at a big disadvantage, right? So you have to figure out, you're like, I gotta get my Pokemon in Dynamax mode. So what happens? Again, the balancing thing, that is my biggest concern. So is there a thing where one Pokemon activates Dynamax, so the other Pokemon has to activate theirs on the same round? I don't know. I mean, that's something that I've thought about. Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like you said, it might just activate the other ones automatically to keep it balanced. But either way, yeah, I think they're gonna figure out a good way to keep it nice and balanced.
Now, I'm typically the guy who shouts, Pokemon is a kid's game and we shouldn't care that much. But honestly, Pokemon games are traditionally pretty well balanced. So I think that is an important part of it. And if I were to guess, I would guess that you'll just be able to activate it. They said you can do it once per battle. So I would assume that you can just activate it whenever. And if you get in a battle and the other person spins it real early, maybe it's like setting up your meter in a fighting game, right? Maybe it's just a little bit different.
Right.
Oh.
Maybe you want to save it for your last Pokemon. Maybe they want to start it with their first Pokemon, and just it's two different strategies. That's if I gun to my head, that is what I would expect it would be. But we'll find out. We'll find out.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's a good point actually. If it's a meter thing, I'm all for it.
Yep. All right. I think it's time. I think we are ready. So. This is the first time we've been able to do this, so I'm actually pretty excited. We are going to talk E3 predictions. What are we actually expecting to see at the show? What do we hope to see at the show? What are we looking forward to that we already know is going to be there? So I think we're going to jump into all things E3 right now. And as I kind of brought up in our Discord, we reached out to all of our listeners in our Discord to basically send in their predictions for what they wanted to see. And as we were kind of going through it, a few very specific topics kind of jumped out. So we've kind of separated these by different topics, and we're just gonna talk. So I guess Sergio, you want to start us off?
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for letting me start because
very
I'm going
specific.
for the yeah. I'm going for Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So we have two comments by our listeners. Shininia says that she is predicting either a celebration or a riot. She's personally hopeful because of other Animal Crossing games have been at E3, which is correct. And she will scream at Doug Bowser personally if we don't get any news.
Yeah, so taking one for the team there. Apparently she lives in LA, so yeah, she'll just go right down and give him the what for. So there you go.
Nice. And friend of the show, Shy Guys, he is predicting that Doug Bowser is going to be seen with extra security because Animal Crossing is showcased in the Direct, but, quote, to ensure all these great new features can be enjoyed to the fullest, we need a little more time to work on the game, coming in April 2020.
Oh.
You know what, Shy Guy?
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I think you might be right, and I'm preparing for the worst. I mean,
Oh no.
a delay like this, it would just explain all the silent treatment that Animal Crossing fans have been getting. I'm low-key preparing for this. I'm still hopeful, but we'll see.
April 2020, it may seem like a while from now, but like I think if it's gonna be the biggest Animal Crossing game they've ever made, I mean, if it takes them that much time, then it's gonna be a painful wait. But I mean, good things come to those who wait, and I mean, when it comes out, boom, like it could be the game of the year, So maybe there's some sort of strategy behind that, and maybe there are other games that are coming out later this year that is pushing Animal Crossing back. But I don't know.
Right, like Pokemon, man. I would cope with Pokemon. I'm good with that.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, so I listed this under the title Animal Crossing Conundrum because nobody can seem to really make up their mind whether they think it's going to come this year or not. Arlo just talked about E3 predictions and predicted that it's not looking likely for this year. I'm going to swing back and I'm going to dig my heels in even farther than they already are. I think this comes this year, and I think it comes around August, September this year. I really do. I think there are other games that we know are coming this year, or they have said they're coming this year, that we also don't know anything about. Cue Luigi's Mansion for one. Now we have seen a little tiny bit of gameplay, tiny bit, but also it's kind of in the realm of just what is this game? Link's Awakening. We've seen a little bit of it, but there's a lot of secrets and questions about that too. I think it's going to be a good show. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'd be shocked if Animal Crossing doesn't come this year. I really would. Man,
hopefully. And, hopefully if they do show it and it does come out this year, hopefully they kind of show why all the silence, I guess something that would work is if it's just an enhanced version of New Leaf, which was the Animal Crossing on the 3DS. That would be a little bit disappointing. but it would explain a lot of things too.
So as somebody, and I've been the outsider for two topics already this show, but as kind of an outsider to Animal Crossing, the games just don't look that much different. So I'm wondering if they're just kind of saving it for, hey, here's kind of a blowout. They're not going to drip feed slow news like Smash Brothers.
No, right.
Over and over, right? Because they just don't. That's not the format of this game. So I think
right.
The fact that we haven't heard anything is not all that surprising to me because we have this big gigantic show coming, in 4 days.
Right.
That I think, I don't know. I'm sticking to it. I would be shocked if it doesn't come.
I'm gonna say this. While I do agree that it would be ideal for Animal Crossing to come out this year, I actually think it will come out in January of 2020, and I will tell you why. There's a lot of titles that are coming out this year, and I think that with Animal Crossing, when you set that title as the first big title coming out in the first month of the year, I think that it will draw a lot more people in. Especially after the Christmas, maybe people are like, oh, well, we got these games from Christmas, but, what about January? What about January? Any big games coming out in January? There's something about a game coming out in the first month of the year that makes it very appealing. I might be biased since, I'm a big January kind of person. I know a number of people who have birthdays in January, including myself. So I think that there's something about the month that when a game comes out that month, when you have it at the start of the year, you set the tone. You set the tone for, the games that are coming out. I think that it makes sense for Animal Crossing to come in January. Now, I don't know a lot of big name titles that came out in the first month. I don't know if
anecdotally, they don't do that well.
Right.
In January for whatever reason. That's why you don't see a ton of game releases around that time.
Right, and I'm aware of that, but I think that would be a nice change up if they were to switch it up and release it in January, late January, not the beginning, but late January.
But it's a good point for a game that you're gonna be playing every day of your year, basically.
Right, and
so
exactly.
It's good to start with the first month.
And you know what? I didn't even think about that, but thank you. You just saved my argument. So that's exactly what.
The only thing that would bring that down for me is that Animal Crossing is so built on holidays and in real life events. I would be very surprised to see it come out after the likes of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, when Animal Crossing actually gets really cool. If you release it sometime in January, then you're talking it's about a year before you actually see some of the really neat, themed things, which for somebody like Sergio, that's not going to matter that much. But in my opinion, like if you want to put that around the September timeframe, so you're like, hey, in a month you got this coming, and then in a month you got this coming, and then that's how they get you. To go back to previous discussion.
I have not really a counterpoint, but something to add about that. There's a thing that like some of my friends back home, they and one of my friends here, they do this quite often where they always look at the national, like what sort of national thing day is it for that day? Like today is National Yo-Yo Day. I just looked it up, 5 minutes before this. 5 minutes before we recorded. Every day there's something national that goes on. And I think that maybe Animal Crossing can take advantage of that. And when you put this knowledge into the game, people get more aware of like, oh wow, like this is like National Acai Smoothie Day or National, I don't know, Ninja Day. I don't know, just
Kombucha Day.
Oh, there we go. National Kombucha Day. I will be a big fan. And
drink responsibly, kids.
Yeah. And like Daryl, I am coming from an outsider's point of view, and so I think it'll be a great idea for Animal Crossing to have little celebrations of different national thing days, and which is again, I think it'll be great for it to come out in January. So forget the birthday stuff. I was just trying to forget the birthday stuff. I think that I was being a little biased there, but like what Sergio said, you start in the beginning of the year, and it's like I'm gonna leave it at that. Every
Every day is a holiday.
Every day is a holiday.
Oh man.
Fair enough. Okay, so I mean, chalk all this up to we don't really know what's going on, and we're gonna know in just a few days. So
you know what? Nintendo probably doesn't even know.
yeah,
they probably don't even
Nintendo's
know.
like they're playing darts with a calendar right now.
Yeah.
And the calendar extends through the next like 3 years. They're like, here. So I'm gonna jump into the next topic, and I wanted this one because this has been my topic for months. I've been talking about this.
Wait, is it Smash?
No.
Damn it.
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
But no, we're jumping into Microsoft speculation.
Oh,
So
right.
going back to, man, I don't even remember what episode it was. I think it was in the teens of games that we wanted to come to Switch. If we could move any game to Switch, what would we do? I called Rare Replay at that point.
Yep.
And I've been on that train for a very long time, and some things are kind of coming together recently that are kind of pointing to that. And moreover, they're pointing towards potentially maybe Banjo-Kazooie being a character in Smash, which if that happens, I do not care what else happens at E3. It's a good year for me. I'm serious, and I'm completely serious. I'm going to own that. Because that is what I wanted to happen. Regardless of even if I play them, I would be so happy to see that happen. Because that started out as a Nintendo franchise, right?
Right.
This would be a literal coming home, and that would be awesome to see.
I'm coming home.
This seemed to be a very popular conversation among the speculation, so I'm just going to read some. Big Shot wrote in, Banjo-Kazooie is a DLC fighter, playable following E3. That'd be awesome. A brand new game is announced, Banjo 3E. And that's hard to say. I could see it, but it's hard to say. Game Pass added to Switch, which was at least talked about a little bit, but you have to be able to stream from an Xbox.
Oh,
wow, that is
that'd be interesting. Dragon writes in, Banjo-Kazooie is coming to Smash. See, there you go. And with that, the Game Pass coming to Switch rumors are true, along with Rare Replay and Ori and the Blind Forest / Will of the Wisps.
Yes,
which I think would please everybody at this on this episode. So. Great. Napping Rat writes in, I think we're going to see Master Chief show up on a Nintendo Switch in some form or fashion. Maybe even just a Switch user icon option. That is a great pull. That is a great pull.
I would like that a lot. That'd be pretty cool.
Nice.
I mean, we've talked about Halo maybe coming to Switch in the past. And finally, Shy Guy. Banjo in Smash / Rare Replay on Switch. Ori on Switch. Ori 2 coming to Switch, but not day and date with Xbox. That seems extremely likely to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Like all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our Microsoft section, and we've talked about this in the past. Like, at this point, would either of you be all that shocked to see Banjo-Kazooie in Smash, Rare Replay on Switch, Ori and the Blind Forest on Switch, and potentially Halo coming to Switch at some point in the near future?
I'll tell you right now, I'll be 200% not surprised. I think it's going to happen. I think that, I mean, all signs are pointing up, positive.
And I can't believe it. A year ago, I wouldn't have been saying that. I really wouldn't have.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
At this point,
either.
yeah, it looks like it. It really does.
It just strengthens it just validates the fact that Nintendo and Microsoft have this awesome relationship. I mean, oh, goodness, like, it's amazing. And, like, 20 years ago, you would not have thought this would be a thing. I mean, like 30 years ago, like 25 years ago, okay, 25 years ago, it was like Nintendo versus Sega. And now it's like, man, I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. But anyway.
I can't believe that, well, I mean, I can believe that Nintendo is accepting some of this from Microsoft. That makes sense. But, like, yeah, as you're kind of saying, back in the Nintendo Sega console wars,
yeah, I mean,
man, they were very elitist, and it actually led to that's one of the reasons that Square Enix kind of fell out with Nintendo at the time.
Yes.
And a bunch of other things happened around the same time, just because Nintendo was kind of uptight and no, we're the best. We're not gonna, we don't need to to deign to your level. And at this point, they're just like, hey, Microsoft, let's team up. Let's do crossplay. Let's do special editions of Minecraft. Hey, Cuphead, that's a great game. What else can you give us? Halo, let's do that. You know that Rare Replay game that has a ton of Nintendo games on it? Can we have that too? You know that. I wonder how these conversations are actually happening because it's just amazing to see.
It's bittersweet for me personally because as a Sony fan for a long time, I do wish that Sony and Nintendo. Okay, I know.
I'm sorry. It's a tradition at this point.
You know, I just feel like, and Sony and Nintendo, they should have some sort of relationship together. I mean, I know that back in the day, Nintendo pulled a fast one on Sony with the CD-ROM thing, and then they got the Philips, and then that was a
really good experience.
A really good experience, and CDI. But the CD has other games that happen. But I just think that Sony and I think there needs to be some sort of relationship because I really do want Uncharted to come on Nintendo.
Yeah, you might have a few years to wait on that one.
Yeah, no, but in all honesty, I just wish that they could have a better relationship. Like, just look at what Microsoft's doing. Like, if Microsoft can join the battle, Sony can too. Or join together, to make really awesome games. I mean,
to defeat the evil Google Stadia. Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
I gotta say though, I really am.
We have a common enemy now.
I am curious about Google Stadia though, to see how well it does. Hopefully it does okay, at least okay. I mean, just given what we talked about before.
I mean, if this Microsoft and Nintendo friendship is or could be caused because of Stadia, hey, good things are happening already. I think all of these wishes or speculation, I think it's just a matter of when, not if. I think all of these are gonna happen, and possibly the best part is if Banjo comes to Smash. I don't think that could be it. I think a Banjo 3 would have to happen simply because some people will be like, hey, who's this guy? Who's this duo? They need a new game.
Yeah,
they do.
They do.
I mean, yeah. Here's hoping. And of all of the things that we've talked about, probably the Smash Brothers thing is I'll say the least likely, and I still kind of expect it at this point. It is heavily rumored and kind of leaked, hinted at, whatever. But it's the hardest to actually predict because Smash Brothers is kind of a weird series in how the characters actually get in, and this one seems a little obvious at this point.
Right.
But if it, like I said, if it happens, my E3 is made. I don't care what else happens, and that's a nice position to be in, because there's a few of those kind of scattered around. Like if this happens, then I'll be happy, or if this happens, or if this happens. So
right.
Yeah, hold me to that. And I'll be happy come next week, hopefully. So there we go.
We talked about Animal Crossing, we talked about Microsoft, but one of my favorite things that I love talking about is having games that are from different platforms come to the Switch. I'm talking about ports, I'm talking about DLC from games and compilations, like compilations especially as well, because it's nice to relive the games that we played in years past. I'm gonna start off with Big Shot. Big Shot got Mario Odyssey and Mario Party DLC, Metroid Trilogy, Golden Sun Collection, and Cadence of Hyrule Shadow Drops. Mother Trilogy announced for 2020. That is quite
that seems too
one.
good for me.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, I look at that and I'm like, ooh, that checks a lot of boxes right there.
The Mother Trilogy, that's probably the least likely for me. But man, the Golden Sun Collection, I'm gonna get it like immediately. Like
yes.
I don't care like when it comes out. I know I kind of do. I do care. But
we don't care if it has Golden Sun 3. We're still gonna get it.
Dude, if they said the words Golden Sun, that would be one of my boxes that I would be happy about. Like seriously,
man.
And I don't even care what they say about it. If they say the words Golden Sun, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
Unless it's followed by Golden Sun is a dead series that we're never working on again. But I don't know why they would say that. So
yeah, if they said that, I don't know. I'm done. But Golden Sun Collection, if it comes out, I do care that it comes out within a year from it being announced. Hopefully, Dragon, some kind of port. I don't think they'll do 3D World anymore now that it's in Mario Maker 2, essentially, but maybe Star Fox Zero with new content. I can see that. I did not play Star Fox Zero, except I did play it.
Yeah.
Played it.
You and everyone else.
Well, I did play the demo at E3, so that does count. But I didn't play the full game.
Yeah, that game bombed, and that game bombed hard to the point that I don't know that we would see it again. Unfortunately, I actually really liked the game, but it did not do well at all.
It didn't bomb wisely.
No, it used its bombs poorly. Yeah.
Man, and then we got Shy Guy. Mario Kart 8 DX gets 2 new cups, 4 new racers, /carts, /wheels, /gliders for $9.99. Available the same day tour drops. The date will be given, but that's all that will be said about tour. Prime Trilogy is shown, but has a vague date. Cadence of Hyrule available now.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
The hype about this game, this Cadence of Hyrule, like I mean, if it drops, man, I mean, boom.
So there's a lot of evidence that it's coming very soon. I think it tentatively got a release, like a metadata release date of like last week or something, and then it got moved out to June 20th. So I mean, it's kind of hinting at the shadow drop thing. So that's you see a lot of that, and I think they're on the right track. Once again, Shy Guy comes in with a comment that honestly, all of this makes perfect sense to me. The only thing that I'm a little funny on there is that Kart 8 Deluxe gets DLC at this point. I've been kind of talking about that since it launched, and at this point it feels a little old, but the rationale there that it actually syncs up with Mario Kart Tour, the app, makes a lot of sense. I mean, then it kind of brings you back. And then Prime Trilogy, I think, is it's at least heavily rumored and seems fairly likely. Has a vague date. Love that. And yeah, so again, some things on there that I would really like to see happen, but actually seem pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I would personally pay $15 for exactly what Shy Guy would talk about. But I mean, $10 is good too. I mean, I would love to have.
Well, 2 cups is 8 courses. I mean, that's not insignificant. That's pretty good.
It's really nice, and then it like as you've alluded, it breathes new life into the Mario Kart game. And I still think it's a very fun game to play with friends and stuff. So, man.
Yeah, quick side break. So we actually just had our Mario Kart time trial tournament, and it actually went a lot better than I even expected it to, in terms of a few players really grinding some of the courses and getting their times down, finding some new strategies, including myself. I mean, I got involved with a couple of the tracks and tried pretty hard on them and kept learning things, kept improving. We saw a lot of that. So the way it worked, we had 4 courses. Each one had a bounty on it of a $5 eShop card for the winners, and we had another eShop card for the overall lowest time over the 4 courses, and we just decided our winners. So shout outs to Elro for winning the course on Mount Wario, and to Dragon for winning everything else. So won all 3 other races and the overall lowest time. So man, huge shout outs to both of them.
Yeah, for sure, and they are very, very strong Mario Kart racers. I mean,
they
very
had good times.
Yeah,
really good times, like approaching some record times with some carts that I just kind of put together as like, hey, this is a stupid looking cart, let's do that. So I mean, I was actually very impressed with what everyone who actually signed up was able to do with these crazy things. The last course was actually Big Blue, and you were playing as Waluigi on an inside turning bike on 200cc, because I'm a jerk. I just am, and it was really funny, so I did it. I do not apologize for that one.
There you go. Right, with that being said, we got Troido Power. I'm really hoping for either a Luigi Mansions bundle or Metroid Prime Trilogy to get shadow dropped, but I really doubt they'll even get mentioned. Well, I'm 50% on this one.
I can see the Metroid Prime trilogy more likely. The Luigi's Mansion bundle, the reason I don't see it is because the first one recently came out on the 3DS. Oh man, but it makes so much sense with the third one coming to Switch and just getting them all in one system. I want both.
It's one of those things that makes so much sense. I don't think they'll do it. It feels a little like they just did it to me. That one feels a little unlikely. The Luigi's Mansion one, I'd be super happy to see it.
Yeah.
Whereas Metroid Prime Trilogy, I think that's a slam dunk. I think it's coming, and I think it's coming fairly soon, maybe this year. So here's hoping.
Well, speaking of hoping, Link Triforce is hoping for Metroid Prime Trilogy announced for Switch.
There you go.
And Cadence of Hyrule Shadow dropped on Thursday. Man, there's a lot of talk about Cadence of Hyrule Shadow dropping.
There's a lot of hype for that game, and
Yeah.
I see why. I mean, Crypt of the Necro Dancer is an amazing game. It's really good. And what they've shown off with the Zelda art style over it, it just looks really polished, really nice. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I'll get it day one.
Same.
Nice. And we also have some predictions about potential Nintendo Switch services or models. So Big Shot comes in and says Super Nintendo games or Game Boy games for online subscribers, and because renewal periods are coming up. That's a good point. Also, Netflix is added.
Ooh.
Nice. Shy Guy also says UI updates for the Switch and SNES games either to the Switch Online or on the eShop regular. Nice.
That's interesting. I think they're coming to Nintendo Switch Online. We had some news about that a long time ago. Somebody did some data mining and actually found some evidence of it. I think they're coming. Right. It's just a matter of when. I don't know if they would talk about it this E3 or not. Whenever they do, I'm very excited for it. So the sooner the better.
There is one game that I would love to see on the SNES. Games.
Cool spot.
Well, I was thinking. Well, the obvious choice. Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures, obviously.
Yeah.
No, I was talking about F-Zero. I really want to play it again.
Mario's Time Machine.
You know what? I still have that game, and it was actually not that terrible.
I'd play it.
Yeah,
I would.
But, well, you know what? There is one that I really wanted to play that I never got a chance to play, and it's Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals. I actually wanted to play that for the longest time, but just never got around it. And if they release it on the SNES Online thingamabobber, Switch Online thing, I mean, it'll be great. I would love to play it. Yeah, another RPG to add to my large backlog. Anyway.
Or Tetris Attack with online play.
That would be great.
Man.
Please.
Don't tempt me.
So, Napping Rat also says he's hoping for a reversal of the online Friends Play thing in Mario Maker 2. And you know what? If Nintendo really is changing and they are listening, I can see it happening for sure.
I don't know that I see it at E3. Maybe. I definitely see that reversing or being unlocked as an option in the future, for sure. But I'm curious if they'll even talk about it at E3.
Yeah, I'm just so mixed about that. Like, why would they? I mean, like in terms of like not being able to, just straight up play with your friends' levels. Like that's just.
I also do want to say that this is one of the things they're kicking off some of their events like this weekend with some tournaments and stuff. This is one of those things that may just be casually mentioned at some point during the stream over the next 5 days. So we'll all see, I guess.
Sure.
Nice. And while Luigi 3030 says new Switch model, there were so many rumors before. Nintendo kind of said they don't plan to say anything at E3, but we know Nintendo, so it could happen.
Like I think I mentioned before, I think I could see them just like holding one and not saying a word about it. Like just anything is possible at this point.
And that's the thing. Like, there were some cool designs that I actually linked to y'all on the Discord about, just
right.
I think about industrial designer. It was an industrial designer who like made these designs of the proposed new Switch model, and it kind of looked like a enlarged PS Vita. I actually like it. I think it'd be like what you said. Like, if you did just play around with it, like at E3 without saying anything, I mean, that would be a pretty nice way to go about it. But oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't personally expect a new model, but hey, you never know. It you never ever know.
Right.
So let's talk about probably the most hype-inducing that we could talk about here. Let's talk about the new unannounced games that might show up.
Dun dun dun.
And this is where the hype train kind of goes crazy because we're not basing this on much of anything. So, Big Shot wrote in predicting a new Zelda game that is not Breath of the Wild 2. Presentation ends with a cinematic teaser for Prime 4.
Ooh. Or maybe the new Zelda game is about Link in the future, and then Link is in outer space, and then
Maybe Prime 4 is a Zelda game.
Yeah. I mean, that would be awesome. I mean,
The Legend of Zelda Prime. Actually, I would play that game. I would.
Day 0 for me.
I've kind of wondered why they didn't do that before. Why they would never, because they kind of hint at like futuristic type technology, but generally it's technology from the past in the Zelda series. I've always kind of wondered, if they would ever go with like a futuristic Zelda style, like maybe not. I mean, I might not be talking like a Blade Runner or something here, but maybe just a little bit more futuristic technology driven. Give me some beam swords and stuff. That might be kind of fun. I don't know. Okay, and the exact opposite of that, Shy Guy writes in, A Link to the Past is also announced in the same art style as Link's Awakening. They come as a pair. Both have multiplayer. A first-party announcement that knocks all of our socks off.
Ooh.
So that's two different predictions. One is a kind of a surprise announcement, and then the other one is that the rumored Link to the Past listing that may have shown up on Best Buy a while back is actually part of Link's Awakening, and they have multiplayer. Ooh, sign me up.
Yes.
Sign me up. I'm already in for Link's Awakening. It doesn't take that much to sell me on something at this point.
Yeah.
For the first party announcement, I mean, I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, a very charming basketball type of cartoony sort of game would be great as a first party title. I would love
I don't think that knocks my socks off,
well,
personally.
it will do well. Okay, but it will for me. And
I tell you what would. Pikmin 4.
Ooh.
Pikmin 4 would be what I'm kind of looking for this E3. I was actually just talking to my wife about it because that's probably her most hyped up game at this point.
Nice.
Some point whenever it comes. I kind of expect a Pikmin 4 announcement sometime between now and next March. It just kind of fits. We'll see. But here's hoping. I really would like to play that game. Pikmin 3 was amazing. Such a good game. The only thing missing from it was any form of real online multiplayer, which hopefully they could fix. That'd be great. But obviously they would only have you play against randoms and not your friends. Anyways, moving on. Dragon writes in a bunch of predictions here. New Mario Golf. Okay, well, yeah, sure. Pikmin 4.
Great.
Hey, real winner there. Odyssey 2. So this was actually kind of an interesting prediction. Because it was kind of built on, he thought it might be too late for DLC for Mario Odyssey, and they might be pulling like a Galaxy 2.
Right.
Where they just release a full sequel. And when put that way, yeah, I can see that. And there's your announcement that knocks your socks off. If they come out and say, hey, Odyssey 2 is coming out, in February or something. Maybe a 2D Metroid by Mercury Steam in conjunction with Nintendo's in-house team. Okay. I love this. They'll deem it Metroid 5, and it'll hopefully release before Prime 4.
Whoa. 5 before 4.
That'd be great. That'd be great. And finally, Retro's new IP game that they've been working on, and which they hinted at in Reggie's Goodbye Memento. I predict it'll be a 3D action platformer similar to Ratchet and Clank games.
Ooh.
So this is a big one.
Yeah.
First of all, did you guys see the Reggie Goodbye thing?
Honestly, I did not.
I know it happened, but I'm not privy on the details about the Memento.
So all it was they gave him this like framed picture with a bunch of their characters, a bunch of characters from games that Retro has worked on. So Samus was on there, if I remember right, and Donkey Kong and a few others. But there was also this other character that was very different and obscured.
Oh.
I can't remember what it was obscured by, but everybody kind of pointed at it and said, "Hey, this is different. This is something," which kind of goes along with the idea that they were working on something before Prime 4 got thrown at them, right?
Right.
And the timing was kind of right. We talked about this. So the idea of a retro-made game showing up at E3, I mean, we've been talking about that for seems like the past decade as a collective gaming community, but I don't know. I could see it. I really could.
Yeah, I mean, man, it's Ratchet and Clank though. That is like,
It's a great game.
yeah. I'm really glad that Dragon mentioned that because I feel like it is underrated and it deserves more love. And I feel like if it could be something like Ratchet and Clank or Psychonauts by one of my favorite developers of all time, Tim Schafer, if it's something similar to that, it'd be great. I would love it.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the picture right now, and it's actually, it is a picture. It's a cartoon drawing of Reggie himself, hugging both DK and Diddy Kong, with Samus in the background and Dixie Kong in the background, and a bunch of Metroids in there. It says "Thanks for playing." It's really sweet. But cleverly placed in front of it is this like bronze Mario statue. And just behind him, you can see what kind of looks like a new, like, almost robot character or something. Like, you see a hand, and it's only a hand, and it's not really connected to anyone in there. So, yeah, people were freaking out about what this could be, and it seems intentional to me. So, interesting. Very interesting.
Nice.
And finally, in the prediction of new unannounced games, Waluigi3030 writes, Waluigi is definitely getting his own game. There you go. Breaking news. Do it.
I would say deservedly so. Regardless of what it is, it's just been way too long. Wario has a bunch of games. Come on, give it to Waluigi now.
I could see a Waluigi game shadow dropped at E3. I mean, there's I could see that. I mean,
upping the ante here.
yeah, and I say that because Waluigi's been shafted from Smash as a character, millions and millions of times. People have been, including myself, have wondered, would Waluigi ever be in Smash? And it hasn't happened, but I think having Waluigi have his own game, it would be great.
People have been talking about Waluigi's taco stand for forever. I don't know even where that came from, but it just sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. So yeah, let's do that. Anyways, so before we move on from this, it's time for us to actually kind of, try our own. So, whoever wants to jump in on this, just do it. What new unannounced game or games are you expecting for this E3? And I want to go even farther. A new unannounced game that is not like heavily rumored, that you would stake your reputation on. This is happening. What do you think?
Whoa. Oof. Okay.
I know.
Right.
And we're gonna totally get this wrong. So yeah, we're not actually staking anything on anything here, because how would you do that?
I got something, and well, I just think we're gonna see a new type of amiibo.
Ooh.
So not just what they do, but a completely different way of looking at what amiibo can be, how you can sell them. Honestly, I was going back. Do you guys remember Pogs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to have those as amiibo, and then you could play with people just to win or lose different amiibo Pogs or Tazos or whatever they call them, and then you would use them in the games. So you could get a bunch when you buy a system, when you buy a game, when you buy a bag of chips. I don't know. It could be,
That'd be awesome.
a nice
Bag of
way for
chips.
Nintendo to like reach out to a lot of food or candy or different companies.
Actually, that'd be really cool. It could be like cut into the back of like cereal boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Neat. I like it.
Oh, that would be great. I have one accessory and one new unannounced game that. Anyway, we're gonna start with the accessory. I think, and I hope it happens, I think that Nintendo is going to have a Joy-Con with a D-pad, an official Joy-Con with a D-pad.
Oh.
Yep.
I think that is a feasible prediction. There have been alternatives like the Ori D-pad Joy-Con. Now,
Which I have.
which you have,
Yep.
and you like it a lot, right?
I like it a lot.
Very good.
It works really well. The D-pad feels awesome, and everything else works almost exactly like a Joy-Con does. Obviously, you can't use it apart from the Switch at all, so it's only a handheld mode thing. But as a mostly handheld mode player, I wanted to give it a shot. My left Joy-Con was kind of acting up, and this was a cheap replacement that I kind of wanted for Mario Maker anyway. So I think that's a great pull, actually, because they've got Mario Maker coming out. Why, you want to be able to play Mario with a D-pad if possible. So I think it'd be a great time for it.
Nice. Yeah, I would, and it would be great if they can announce that. And we might have alluded, we definitely talked about this before. A new unannounced game that would be a MOBA style that I would think Nintendo would just bring out of the water, like like something like Awesome Knots, but in a very just has that Nintendo charm. I think I would.
I hope so.
I would stake my. I wouldn't bet my life on it like Final Fantasy VII Cosmo Canyon. When I guessed that song right, you said that it wasn't, but then I got a heart attack almost, and then and then Daryl was like, "Oh, the firing squad was ready." I'm like, "Oh god." I won't bet my life on it, but
there's no firing squads here.
Okay, well, I will bet my reputation.
Just an eternity of shame.
Okay, well, I don't really have a reputation, and if I do, then I'm gonna bet on it with a MOBA style game that Nintendo will release. Or I'm gonna go as far as say it will shadow drop on E3. I'm gonna say it right now.
Oh.
Shadow drop. It's gonna be a new MOBA style game shadow dropping on the very last day of E3. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Boom.
There's your deep pull. All right, so let's move on to the next section. I'm kidding. So yeah, for me, now I did say non-rumored. Now at this point, like everything is rumored, but let's just keep it to things that are a little bit shaky, because I definitely see. I think Spyro is going to show up for one. Nobody brought up Spyro. I think think Spyro's going to definitely show up.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, I think most people did, but I definitely think I see that happening for sure. If I were just going to bet on something, I would bet on Pikmin 4, but again, that's been done for years apparently, so who knows. Right. I'm going to go a little bit deeper, and I'm going to say a game. And I'm not going to, I don't know exactly how specific I want it to be, but a game from the developer of Octopath Traveler or Bravely Default, coming to Nintendo Switch, kind of in that style, probably as a sequel to one of those series. I just kind of, see that. I don't know, Bravely 3, maybe?
Yeah.
They've also said they're working on Octopath Traveler 2, which excites me to no end. So, yeah, I kind of see something like that coming.
Well, for sure, especially because Octopath made such an impact, not only on Nintendo systems, getting at like a traditional RPG, but like a really, really good one, really polished on every aspect. Man, dude, that'd be great.
Seriously,
it's still sitting among my favorite Switch games. Like it is, it's my favorite RPG that I've played in years. So yeah, I'd be on board with anything that they do. I also like the Bravely series, so if they do Bravely 3, I'd be on board for that too. So, yeah, there you go. Kevin, you want to round it out?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, speaking of stuff, we got some other stuff. We got some other stuff. I mean, with Link Triforce, he said that Prime Trilogy and much more info/footage of Link's Awakening remake would make it a great E3. But of course, yeah, I'd love some big surprises too. I'm super hyped. And you know what? Us three as well. I'm super hyped too, man. I mean, I mean, just shadow drop that MOBA game. Oh, and I just want to say, for those who don't know what MOBA is a multiplayer online battle arena. Examples are League of Legends, Heroes of New Earth, Dota, and Dota 2. So there we go.
among a ton more. I mean, there's a ton of
Yeah.
them, and when we got into that discussion, I kind of underestimated how hard it is to explain what a
Yeah.
MOBA actually is. Makes sense just to kind of look it up, but in general, it is a team-based, either 3-on-3 or 5-on-5, trying to take control of a map that has these like sentry towers put up. So over time, you're trying to attack these towers and make progress in the map and slowly advance into the enemy's base, and they're trying to do the same to you. So that's kind of in the meantime, you are playing one of a bunch of different heroes or champions or what have you that all have different abilities to, either be good at killing the other players or be good at attacking towers or defending yours, that kind of thing. So that's about as simple as I can make it. There's a ton of systems in there, which is why I want Nintendo to step in and just make this game that'd be like, hey, it's like this game, and everybody would understand,
You know what? That is a very good way to put it, and thank you for that. So, I agree. Nintendo, if you haven't heard us already, release a MOBA game.
Nintendo's listening. They're like, oh, that's a MOBA. Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Then it becomes their next Smash out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Actually, I could
awesome
see it.
us.
If they did it really well, I think a Nintendo-driven MOBA could actually do really well in the
Yeah.
marketplace.
Mm.
But anyways, we're sidetracking.
Yeah. Anyway, Chewy talks about release calendar predictions. Ooh. September, Luigi's Mansion. October, Link's Awakening. And I believe his best one on the list, December, Animal Crossing. Ooh, I mean.
Yeah, so Chewy's still on the it's coming this year boat, but he's putting it at the very end of the year. I don't think it comes in December either. I think almost nothing comes in December, but that's just me.
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out December 3rd.
Yeah, there'll
but-
be something like that, but with Pokemon coming out at the end of November, that's gonna fill a lot of their
Yeah.
holiday season type poll.
sure.
But we'll see. I think in this weird world, Animal Crossing and Pokemon kind of compete with each other, so I would love to see those separated just a little bit, just a couple months here and there, and that's kind of where I was. That's kind of where I was putting Animal Crossing in the August, September. But it just depends on if they're done. And who knows at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like an ARMS Splatoon 2 situation because,
Oof.
both games released within a month apart. And I think it was a absolutely terrible idea because, I felt like ARMS was just, in terms of the popularity and just, what the game was and then as a new concept, I felt like Splatoon 2 just, overshadowed ARMS quite a bit, and it should have
ARMS
been
did
really...
okay, though. I actually thought, like, for a new IP that they just put out kind of on this new system and such, ARMS did pretty well. So...
Yeah.
I think they very much used it as the transition game to get you to Splatoon. I think they realized that Splatoon was going to kind of carry the system for a little bit.
Right.
And I thought it did very well at that. Now, I'm with you. I would have liked to see that spread just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, personally, I felt people kind of tiring of ARMS right around when Splatoon came out.
Yes,
so
that's right.
I don't know. It worked out. I'm not going to bash them too hard because I think it worked out okay for them. By the way, my new lock for this E3, and this is not my lock, don't hold me to this, ARMS 2, legs. There you go.
Ooh.
There you go.
That would be great. And last but not least, Hero's wife. Bexzilla, Nintendo will give us a ton, and people will still complain. And that is so
that's,
true.
That's almost the lock of the show right there. I mean, that
Yeah.
is almost like the most guaranteed thing that could possibly happen. People complained about the year that we got Breath of the Wild, Splatoon, Mario Kart, and Mario Odyssey all in a single year. People complained about that year, so
I don't get it.
It's over. Whatever.
Yeah. There's always going to be haters, complainers, what have you. In the very end, you are the person who is responsible to be happy with what's out there. And if you decide not to be, cheerful or excited about games that are coming out, well, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, hey, maybe I need an attitude adjustment, and then give myself another chance to look at what's out there, because there's a lot of indie games that are out there, that like I think there's one that just came out not too long ago, that my coworker talked to me about, Slay the Spire, a very good
Yep.
roguelike card game, adventure slash card game that did very well overall, and it's on the Switch. So, for those who bash and complain about, well, there's not enough games on Nintendo Switch, man. You know
Oh
what?
goodness, that argument has gone down the tube. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I
It-
agree. The release of like AAA games from Nintendo this year has been a little slow. Doesn't matter. There's still 30 something games coming out like every week, so who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. So,
so that brings me to a good point. By the way, if you're listening to this show and you're one of those people, you're probably listening to the wrong show, because we are pretty easy to get excited about things. Now, I mean, that said, we will call out things that we think are kind of dumb in their strategies and such, like ARMS, like what we talked about just a couple minutes ago. We're not really averse to that, but it doesn't take a whole lot to make me pretty content with what they show at E3, knowing that this is one of the pieces in the Nintendo cycle, right? There will be a direct later on, and they'll keep kind of feeding us information as the year goes on. This is just a very big show and a lot of fun to kind of speculate. But I wanted to kind of get back to that. So you made an excellent point about, you choose to be happy. I think the last thing we should talk about for you guys, what things would it take for this E3 to show you that would make you happy? Like, what would make you come out of the show going, that was a good show? I already kind of gave mine, but I'll elaborate on that a little bit.
Nice. Well, I just want some details on Animal Crossing.
Please.
Anything. As long as it's not a no-show. Even if they show it and they delay it, but at least they show it, I'm good.
Man, I can't even imagine what that would be like if it's just not in the
Like
presentation.
nothing. Imagine.
Ooh. I started thinking about that earlier today, actually. I hadn't even given it thought before that. And then earlier today, I was like, wait, what if it just doesn't show up at all? Period. I'm like,
that would be quite something. I think for me, I just want something new, unannounced, that just blows me out of the water. Like, just something that like I would not expect for like a million years. And to have an updated peripheral or accessory that is associated with the Nintendo Switch, like a Joy-Con with a D-pad, that is officially licensed by Nintendo, or just first party, or even a revised new Pro Controller, or so Xbox One did this. I think back a few years ago at E3, they showcased you can do a customized Xbox One controller. You can customize the color of the buttons, the triggers, just the whole controller with different colors. Now, if Nintendo can do that with the Pro Controller and set it at a good price, maybe $10 more, $10 to $15 more than the price of a Pro Controller, I think it would be great, and I would be encouraged to buy another Pro Controller. Now, given that hopefully there will be some updates, like there's been some complaints about the D-pad, how it's not the best. It can feel a little sticky, especially when you play Tetris. Although I heard
it gives some misinputs from time to time.
Yeah,
if you're not pretty careful with it.
And that's a good point. And that's what hopefully they can update it with, like a Pro Controller 2.0. That's all I got.
Nice. So for me, I'm, as I kind of alluded to earlier, I'm fairly easy to please in that all I need is this groundbreaking, historic crossover between two former rival companies coming together to work together on a single platform. That's all I'm asking for. It's not that hard. No. So of things, any combination of the following things, I'll be happy with this show. If Banjo makes it in Smash, done. That's it. That would be my only thing that I need. Rare Replay, done. I'm good. Anything that we don't know about Zelda as a series, anything. Crystal Chronicles date. Pikmin 4.
Oh, that's right.
Ooh.
Pikmin 4, a good-looking Mario Golf game, anything on Metroid, and I would love to see Metroid Prime Trilogy. That would mostly be kind of a filler for me, but yeah. So that's kind of where I am. Like I'm fairly easy to please with things. If I see any of those things, I will be happy. Or if that prediction comes true of the Bravely / Octopath team doing it, yes, done. Period. I'm good. So, odds are, come next week, knock on wood, here's hoping, I'll be pretty happy with the show. So, here we go.
Yeah, and
There we go.
like you said, Nintendo has been quiet this year. It's been slowish. I think they're building up to something crazy, and
The
who
next few
knows?
months look insane already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You got Mario Maker coming out the end of this month. Then later on, for people like me, you've got Marvel Ultimate Alliance coming out pretty soon. Crystal Chronicles is still looming.
Fire
And then,
Emblem.
yeah, you're talking Fire Emblem and Luigi's Mansion and Link's Awakening are probably the big ones for me. And then there's a bunch of other stuff kind of around the edges. So,
Right.
man, it's already shaping up to be pretty good. So you're just hoping they really hit it home.
And there is one more title that I am anticipating, looking forward to. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I love the first Crash Team Racing on the PS1, and I'm gonna love this one too. So, for those who
Here's
have
hoping.
played Crash, yeah, I mean, I'm ready. I mean, my body is ready. Excuse me, my body is Reggie. That was lame. Anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be a great year. I mean, it already is a great year, but it's gonna be even better. I mean,
But do you guys have any games that you would like to see, but there's no chance? I had three. I'll just list them quickly. A new Dead Space game, no chance. No, none at all. A new Trauma Center, same thing. And sorry, Kevin, a new F-Zero.
Ouch.
Well, surprisingly, I wasn't gonna mention that.
So F-Zero's in a group of games that would all kind of follow in that same bracket for me, including like Wave Race. I would love to see a new Wave Race. Don't think it's going to happen. I'd like to actually see a new 1080 snowboarding or any snowboarding game, period. I would love to see Steep get brought from the grave a little bit and finally fulfill that promise. Anything from EA. I would like to see anything from EA.
Battlefield?
Interesting.
Especially like NHL 2020. I would really like to see something like that. Don't expect it at all. Don't. EA and Nintendo don't play well together for whatever reason, but yeah, that would be on my list of like eyebrow raisers if they're like, yeah, NHL and Madden and this other game are all coming to Switch next year. That would be pretty groundbreaking for me.
Yeah, I think for me, Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch, not gonna happen.
Oh
It
wow.
will not happen yet. Well, I don't think it's gonna happen. No. It won't happen. I mean, it's gonna be on the PS4.
That would be
PS5.
amazing.
It would be amazing, but it's not gonna happen. I mean,
Oh.
Yeah, just to clarify, when I say anything from EA, I'm disqualifying FIFA 2020 because they are legally obligated to put FIFA on the Switch. That is part of the contract with FIFA, that it has to be on every existing platform. So that means absolutely nothing. So anything else?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, man, like, I just, I just want a Final Fantasy VIII on the Switch, but I don't think it's gonna happen because there's been a lot of rumors talking about how the code base is lost. It's unobtainable.
That would
and
turn some heads. Man,
It
I
would
hope they
be.
do it.
It would be, and then like if they were to, bring it to the Switch, they have to reverse engineer one of the previous versions of Final Fantasy VIII, which would take quite a bit of time.
Final Fantasy 1 through 6 collection.
Ooh, that would be great.
Oh, I tell you one
Oh wow.
that's actually kind of likely is the Mana collection.
Oh,
So
the
that
Mana collection, yeah.
recently got rated or copyrighted or something for Europe, actually. So it looks like that is being localized. So I am super excited for that one.
Sweet. Yeah, I
Nice.
mean, that's one of the things I like about the Switch a lot is just the RPGs that are just beautiful to play on the Switch. The Mana collection can be on it. I mean, sign me up. That'd be great. Yeah, The F-Zero thing, I would love to have an F-Zero, but I mean, I don't know, man. It would definitely, I would lose my mind if they released a new F-Zero game. And it would be even crazier if a Shadow dropped. A new F-Zero game Shadow dropped on at E3. I mean, okay.
So this started out as a predictions episode and has turned into an absolutely never ever no chance. So and I mean, don't get me wrong, I really like F-Zero, so I would be really happy to see that game, but no. Okay, so I mean, I think that's probably going to do it for us because the show is actually in like just a few days. So our next episode is actually going to be predictably a E3 reactions episode. We're going to talk about our favorite moments, games that we saw, anything that we really want to talk about. I'm sure there's going to be a lot this show. We are also doing another round of listener voices in our episode. So if you see something that you want to talk about, just grab your phone or a headset or your computer or whatever you have and record something like a 2-minute blurb. Say hi, this is, state your name, and E3 was great or terrible, and this game, I'm really excited for this game because XYZ. Email that to NintendoJumpPodcast@gmail.com, and we will include you in the next episode. I love doing these, so yeah, please get your submissions in at some point before next Thursday. So that only gives you a couple days really to do it from their direct, but really looking forward to that one. So should be a lot of fun. And then after that, we are rounding the corner and actually looking at our celebration of 1 year of doing this crazy podcast. So
yeah. Oh my goodness.
Stay tuned there. We're not announcing anything right yet, but do stay tuned. We've got a few plans and those are growing as we speak. So should be a lot of fun.
Nice. Well, it is time to jump out of here. Thank you so much for listening, and if you would like to chat with us and with an awesome Nintendo gaming community, you can join our Discord group. The description for this episode has a link to it if you would like to join. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Twitter and Instagram as Nintendo Jump, and we also have a Facebook group. Our episodes are on YouTube. You can leave us a comment about your E3 predictions or anything that you would like for us to discuss in a future episode. You can send us your feedback via social media or via email at NintendoJumpPodcast@gmail.com, and for sure, get us your voice messages next week for our E3 reactions episode. If you want to support this show, the best way to do so is through our Patreon. That's patreon.com/NintendoJump. And another way to support would be by leaving a review in your podcast application of choice. We would really appreciate it. This is Sergio, and on behalf of Daryl and Kevin, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.
See ya, everyone.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Shout out to you. And to everyone else. Have a great day. Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye.